Hey there, I'm Amy Shields, Certified Life Coach. One of the most important things that I teach their clients is that their thoughts are optional. So let's talk a little bit today about exactly what that means and how it applies to your life. So your thoughts are optional. And this includes all of your thoughts about yourself, your thoughts about other people, and even thoughts about the world at large. Sometimes your brain offers you thoughts on its own, and sometimes you may choose to think a thought intentionally. So if your brain offers you a story or a thought about yourself or something else in your life, you actually get to decide whether you want to believe that thought and make it mean something in your life. So why is it important to understand that thoughts are optional? Well, because if thoughts are optional, then that means you have the ability to choose to think thoughts that serve you rather than being at the effect of whatever thoughts your brain throws at you at 90 miles an hour. You have over 60,000 thoughts on average every day. And if you are choosing those thoughts instead of just allowing your brain to kind of wander unsupervised like a toddler, then you have the ability to actually direct your thoughts to help you accomplish your goals in life. So here's an example from my own life. So my husband is an avid mountain biker, and he likes to take me along sometimes, and I kind of do my best. I'm not the greatest mountain biker. I'm barely a mountain biker to begin with, but so there is a trail near our house that has this huge hill in it, and it's really big and really steep. And every time that we would arrive to this point in the trail where we'd be at the top of this hill, I would think to myself, there's no way I can do that. It's way too scary. I'll get hurt. I don't want to even try to ride down. And so I would walk my 50-pound mountain bike down this huge steep hill, struggle getting the bike down there because I was too scared. And then one day, because I had been coaching myself and doing some thought work around it, I arrived at the top of this hill with my husband, and as usual, he, waved and then took off very smoothly down the hill. And I thought to myself, you know what? Maybe I can do it. And if I do wreck my bike, I can handle whatever happens. I can handle being hurt. I have the ability to manage my thoughts around that. And so I got on my bike and I rode down the hill. And that was it. And I've been riding down that hill every single time since then, since I changed my thoughts about it, because I chose a different thought and I chose to stop thinking that I didn't have the ability to do it. So one thing that you might be thinking, and this might be a new realization for you, that your thoughts are optional. Something that a lot of people think when they first come into the awareness that their thoughts are optional is, well, why wouldn't I just automatically choose a new thought? And that's a great question. And the reason why you don't automatically want to choose a better thought when you discover you're thinking something that doesn't serve you is because the most important thing to gain from noticing a thought that you have about yourself is really the awareness around your thinking, why you're thinking it, and what that pattern of thinking is actually creating in your life. So in other words, if I had just thought at the top of that hill, this is too scary, no, wait, I can do it, and then gotten on my bike and I was still terrified, then I probably would have crashed my bike. But I had taken a little bit of time to understand my thinking around it. When you realize, number one, that your thoughts are optional, and number two, that there's a thought that you're having that's not serving you, you want to get curious about it and say, gosh, isn't it interesting that I think it's too scary to try to ride down that hill? Or isn't it interesting to think that I'm too old for a career change, or that I'm going to be single for the rest of my life? And ask yourself why you're thinking that. And getting the awareness around why your brain keeps offering you that thought, or why you keep choosing that thought, will a lot of times help you just move seamlessly into a new thought that does serve you, versus just immediately trying to thought swap and think something better to help yourself feel more positive or happier in the short term. And, you know, sometimes the awareness alone is really enough to help you start choosing a new thought. But most of the time, it is best to explore the thought and understand what it's creating in your life before you try to switch to a new thought, kind of like I was just saying. Sometimes that just takes a few minutes of reflecting on your thought and what it's been creating in your life. Sometimes it takes a little longer, such as a few days, a few weeks, a few months, or even a few years. Sometimes those thoughts that we think over and over and over, which are called beliefs, can take time to change because they're so deeply ingrained in our thought pattern and our worldview. And if you do switch to a new thought too quickly, a lot of times what your brain will do is it will say, yeah, you know, it's great that you're trying to think that way, but I like this old thought over here because that feels safer and more secure, even though it's not serving us. I'm not comfortable with everything that's going on with this new thought. And so really, I just want to stick over here with the old unproductive thought and keep getting the exact same result that we've been getting. And that's really because you haven't examined the thought, the belief behind it, and started to manage your mind around it so that you can change that thought intentionally. So if thoughts are optional, this is another question that you might have. If thoughts are optional, why wouldn't you just choose to always think happy or positive or productive thoughts? Great question. Your thoughts are optional, yes, but life is also 50-50 in terms of positive and negative thoughts and positive and negative emotions. And if you spend your life trying to avoid negative thoughts and negative emotions by only trying to think positive thoughts, you're really missing out on the full human experience. And you're actually going to spend a lot of your time and energy actively working to avoid those negative emotions and negative thoughts instead of leaning into them with compassion and curiosity and examining what's going on in your brain and what it's creating in your life. And you know, the other thing about why not just always think positively is that sometimes we want to think negatively about something in life. I mean, there's a lot that goes on in the world, and I'm sure you can relate to this, that I think is amazing. And I look at it and I think, wow, that's so great. But there's also a lot in the world that I look at and I think that's horrible. And I don't want to think positive thoughts about those things. But so that's another reason why we wouldn't always want to just try to choose positive thoughts, because everything in our world isn't positive. There are, you know, bad things that happen. We have disappointments in life. We have a full range of human emotions. And to try to buffer that away with positive thinking all the time denies your full humanity and actually denies your access to the full human experience. So listen, if nothing else, please just remember that your thoughts are optional. And when you notice a thought that doesn't serve you, like I'm not good enough, or I can't do that, or whatever else your brain might be throwing at you, just notice it with compassion and curiosity for yourself. If you're interested in learning how to explore your thoughts, what they're creating in your life, and how to choose thoughts that do serve you, check out a free coaching consultation call with me. You can visit amyshield.com/book to schedule an appointment with me. And otherwise, I will see you on amyshield.com.